Hi class, I'm going to show you the basics of PowerPoint and maybe a few things that you haven't seen before. As you know, when you click on the design, there are a lot of templates that's already up here that you could use, but most of them you can tell they're PowerPoint, and you may want to do a little bit more than what they have. You can also import, but I'm going to show you how to make your own templates. We're going to start with, I'm going to click on the home button and go to slideshow, and I want some new blank ones. I'm going to have 4 to show you a couple of things here. So the very first one, if you want to change the outline, you can double click on it. You can go to format, and then you can change the outline. The weight is the thickness of it. If you want to put a border on it, you can add the fill. Let me add basics. You can add a fill if you'd like to. And then the same with any of these boxes. You can use the format and change, or there's some presets as well. So you can experiment with some of those. And then you can use other theme fills as well. So you can do presets, or you can manually fill in your own for the boxes. But to change the format, I like to right click format background, and then a little dialog box will pop up, and from here, if I wanted a solid color, I could change the color to whatever I wanted. The idea is that you want to make everything that you put on here readable. You don't want to use anything that is a font that you can't read, and you don't want to use colors if they're too saturated that the text can't be read over them. But there's a couple of things we can do, and I'm going to show you what. Okay, so I'm going to the second one, and I'm going to right click and format background. It's already open. I'm going to add a picture here. Go to the file, and let's use this humpback whale. Now notice that this is very saturated. So if I'm going to insert in text box. If I tried to write text on here, it is difficult to read from afar. So there's a couple of things that you can do. The color of the font might make a difference. If let's put it right on the tail. Now you can see there's no way that you can read that. But a couple of things that you can do, starting with, you can enlarge the font if you wanted to. And then I have it selected. You can right click. Let's just enlarge it a little bit, see if that helps some. And then you can always make it bolder. You could try changing the font color. You can also use the tools that's up here. That's another thing. So yellow is usually the most visible. So that helps a little bit. That's one technique here. But let's put it back on the black. Let's say that you wanted the black. Okay, now, can we read that? Oops, it didn't keep the black. Let me hold it. Okay, so a couple of things that you can do is we could change the background color. So I'm going to go to the picture again, and from here I could change the transparency of the text box. I added a texture to that text box. I could change that to where that the tail could bleed through. I don't like that textured, but and then I can go to format and change the fill with whatever color I want. If I want use the eyedrop, let's say I'll pick something off of here. Let's get the blue here. I could use that, and then I can make it more transparent. It's like an overlay. That's one way, is to make any of your text boxes have an opaque background, and to let it bleed through a little bit is good, rather than having that boxy white feeling. See how that is? This is a little better like this. You could also take the background itself. Let me insert again. And picture. I'm going to go to a file, bring this in again, and then this whole background, I can make it, lighten it up here as well. You can see I can make that look like a watermark even, and then I could take that and paste it right there, and then I could add the text back to it. Or you can just write, if you have it light enough, you can just write the text box just on the fin here. So you have a couple options. You have to play around with it. You want it to be visible, so you can lighten the background. You can also lighten the text box that it's on. That's a couple of things to do. Or you can just have any old picture that you want. You can have a gradient fill if you wanted to. You can change the color. You can make your own gradient. Here I'm going to quickly make one. I'm going to change the colors. So I've made my own, and that's a little, I can make another gradient stop. Let's add another color here. So you can do some real unique things. Now this is a little saturated, so I could either change the brightness here, or I could change the transparency if I wanted to, again, lighten it up a little bit that way. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do background, from making your own to making a template like this. But let's connect these and look at some of the animation. If you're going to animate anything, you are going to want to open the animation pane. This pane is very important. It's going to allow you to order the animation in the way that you want them to happen. Also, if you add music, you'll want the music to be at the top of the list. So let's add some animation. You can either go to Add Animation. You can select it from here. I'm going to come in like this. And then I can add one to this as well. Okay, so if I wanted the bottom one to happen first, I would have to grab this, pull it up to the top. If I wanted this to play right now, it's going to play first that one and then this one. If I wanted it to automatically, I'm going to put this one back down here. If I wanted these two to automatically play, I could double click here. I could change the timing, but the most important thing is I want to change it to on click to with previous. Usually you don't want to use the after previous. I could slow it down if I wanted to. And everything that I have on this page, I have to do the same thing. I can't leave anything on click. So again, I'm going to change this to with previous. And now let's play it. I'm going to hit F5 on my keyboard. And there, that played. The other one was so fast, it did play. Now, if I want this to move on to the next one without having to click, what I have to do is to add a transition. So I'm going to add some kind of a transition. Here we go. And here I want to uncheck on mouse click. I could tell it to move after 3 seconds. This one I need to slow down a little bit. I noticed it goes very fast. So I'm going to change the timing to medium so you can actually see that. Okay, so now I'm going to hit F5. And there goes the transition, this one, and then it moves into the next one automatically. So if I wanted to make this whole thing a slideshow, which you will do on the first project, everything that I've added on it, I will have to make sure I have this on click unchecked. Everything that I order on a page, I've got to make sure in the animation pane it is in the correct order. From the top will happen first down. So this is going to happen first, and then this one. If I wanted to add music, I'm going to go to the first insert, and I'm going to add audio from my PC, and I'm just going to pick something here. And this is it. Okay, always the music has got to go on top. And then I can edit some. I'm going to double click on this. And what I want it to do is to continue playing through the second one. So I'm going to have it stop after 2 slides rather than it stopping after the first one. So let's see what happens. I can move that down, make it invisible. I'm going to hit F5. There goes that one. And then it should stop after that one. I didn't have that automated to the second one. So if I wanted to make this entire thing automated, I would add another transition. I would make sure that the on mouse click is unchecked, and I can tell it how many seconds to move after that. And then the sound, I would tell it that I wanted it to play. Otherwise, when it goes to the next one, it will stop. So you can tell it how many times that you want it to stop. There's also things called triggers and a couple of different effects as well that you can experiment with. If you wanted an animation on your screen, you could use something called the animation. I'm going to insert a clip art or any kind of picture. Okay, I'm going to insert this guitar here. And what I'm going to do is insert an animation. And from here, I'm going to go all the way down. I need to slide down. I'm going to motion paths. And what I'm going to select is a custom path. Now, wherever I draw, this guitar is going to follow. So I'm going to have it go this way, this way, this way, this way, and then stop right here. I double click to make it stop, so it followed that. So imagine you could have a whole screen with thousands of snowflakes falling and going anyway. So I'm going to hit F5. It's going to go to the second one. I have to click to the next one because I didn't have anything set on it. Click, and then on click because I didn't have it automatic. If I wanted to make this automatic, again, I double click. I would tell it with previous, and I could even slow it down if I wanted to, very slow. And I could have it keep repeating if I wanted to. I'll say okay. And that's how it will go from there. So that's the basics. You can do many, many different animations. You could have leaves falling off of trees. You can have all kinds of things. And I will show you some samples as we get going with a little bit more advanced. But there's all kinds of paths that you can add to it, ones that are already made. That's called motion paths. So you can do some pretty neat animation using these, or you can draw your own, and you can literally have hundreds of animation on one slide. So I want you to experiment with some of that, try to figure out some of the more advanced things. Challenge yourself if you think that you're comfortable with the PowerPoint. Look at some of the other features. There's a lot of tutorials on the web as well. So Google and see if you can find some advanced animation and see what you can start coming up with. We're going to use this because it's a quick tool to do some animation, some interactivity, and a couple of other things. That way you're not spending your time learning a tool, you're learning the technique. Our first assignment will be a slideshow where everything is automatic. So get used to that and start putting together some slides that are automatic. It will help you with the project. So let me know if you have any questions. This is just to help you get started, and I'm here for you. Bye-bye.